Hello and welcome to another crafting tutorial with myself, Anthony Minnis. In this particular video I'm going to show you how you can age a plaque. Now this particular one I've made using terracotta clay. So basically what I did, I cast all of my elements and then I produced this little plaque. But how do you age it? Well, it really is a simple process, and in this video I'm going to show you that. If you like the contents of my videos, please click the like button, and if you want further information, please subscribe to my channel, where you'll also be able to click the notifications button to receive the very latest information on all brand new content that I upload to my channel. Well, without further ado, let's get crafting and age this plaque. So what we're going to do to age this terracotta plaque is we're just going to use some white acrylic paint. So I'm just going to squeeze some onto our glass mat next to it. Okay. And then we're going to water that down. Be sure to apply a fair amount. Okay. And then we're just going to add some water. So I'm just going to spray some water into the mix there. Okay. And be sure to really water it down nicely. Okay, so basically there's not too sort of like many lumps in there. It's more of a water consistency than it is a paint. So just keep on going until you get a really nice watery consistency to your paint. Okay, once you've got to that point, then just quite simply just wash that over your entire piece. Okay, you haven't got to be precious at this point. You literally just paint that on, making sure you get into all the little nooks and crannies as well. If you feel you're going to run out of paint, then by all means add a little bit more. But at the moment, it's just all about covering the entire surface of your plaque, just using some white acrylic paint. Okay, so I'm just going on there, like I say, making sure I'm going into all the little nooks and crannies. Okay. So you can see how easy that is to apply because it's a very watery consistency. Just be sure to go around the edge of the plaque as well. Make sure everything is covered. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I'm just going to actually spray the plaque itself with a little bit of water. Okay, so just give that a good old dousing. And then I'm just going to take a sponge, and this is just basically an old kitchen sponge. Okay, so again just wet that a little bit and then just start just wiping off. I'm not applying too much pressure. Okay, I'm literally just wiping that off, and you'll see a little bit of the terracotta colour is coming off. That is quite normal. Okay, so that's going to take the majority of it off, and this is really a quick process. Okay, so once you've got to that sort of a stage, okay, so basically the white is just staying in the bits right next to the raised elements of your plaque. Okay, then we're just going to quickly just dry that with a heat tool. So that's not quite dry, but straight away you can see the difference that has made. So flipping it over, that was our original colour, and now we've got this like washed out, aged terracotta. So what we're going to do now, okay, just pop that back down on the surface. We've got a little bit of paint left here. We're just going to really water that down. Okay, like so. And I'm just going to take our sponge again, dab that into there, and then just go over there. So you can see now we're sort of like picking up on the sort of like the texture, and when we lift up the sponge it's sort of like leaving a little bit of texture actually onto the clay. Okay, so again we're just going to give that a quick blast with our heat tool, and then we're just going to wipe some of that off as well. So I'm just going to use a damp baby wipe or similar. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of that paint off. So although I've just dried that, I haven't dried it completely, so you can see it is still a little bit wet here and there. So now we're just going to take our baby wipe, and this is where it gets quite interesting, because you can see now we're getting back to what is the original colour of our terracotta. So again, I'm not applying too much pressure, and I'm just going back over some of those elements, and you can see that's just starting to bring back some of that original terracotta colour, which is really, really nice. Okay, so now it's entirely up to you when you stop wiping off that paint. Okay, so there's not a right or a wrong moment, it's entirely up to you. It's the look that you want to create. So I'm just going to go around the edge there. Now if you feel that you've wiped off too much, then quite simply just go back on with your sponge like that, and again just re-dry it using your heat tool. Okay, so just going to go, especially just around the edge, we just really want to darken that a little bit, so it's going to like almost frame our little plaque. Okay, so the thing with Das clay is, if it does get wet again, even after it has completely dried, it will start to go a little bit mushy, so just bear that in mind when you do this sort of technique. Okay, so I'm just going to have a look at that, just maybe a couple little bits here and there. Okay, so now I'm happy with that. I'm just going to dry that in its entirety, and then because we can, we're just going to add a little bit of gilding paint. I'm going to be using the Cadence, one of my favourites, which is the copper colour. So now our little plaque is dry, and it's down to personal preference. You know, you could leave it exactly as I have at this particular stage here. So this is just with the whitewash technique, and you can see that really does bring out all of that beautiful detail of all the raised elements on our plaque. So what I'm going to do, just to add a little bit of a shine to it, is I'm going to use the Cadence gilding paint. Now this is basically a dry brush technique, so just add a little bit of the colour to your mat, and I do mean a real little bit like that. Now I'm going to be using my good old trusty brush that I use for gilding. So when we say dry brush, we do mean that you apply hardly any paint to the brush, and then just very lightly just start to go over the surface. Okay, and we're just adding just a little bit of that gilding paint back on to our finished piece. So it is quite subtle, okay, but that's what we want. We don't want it to really jump out, this one. We want that subtle overall look. So with this particular colour, it does pick up really nicely with the colour of the original terracotta. So literally I'm just brushing onto the raised areas. I'm not going to go onto the actual background plaque itself. I'm just applying the gilding paint just to the raised surfaces. So in some instances it's a case of just brushing over a couple of times, just building up that gilding effect. Okay, so you can see I'm just going to go onto the edge of our leaf there. Okay, one pass you get hardly anything, but you can then just go back in there and just start to build up the colour. Okay, so leave me to this, and then I'll be back in a minute. So there we go, I'm going to leave it at that. So that is how easy it is to age a terracotta style plaque. So just using white acrylic paint, the option of the gilding paint, and that's the sort of finish you're going to get. So all I'm going to do now is just add a little bit of rustic string there to the top of my plaque, and then I'm done. So there is our aged terracotta style plaque. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you can join me again real soon for a brand new one. Until then, take care. Thanks for watching.